It's your boy Horror Gamer, back at you with another video, another movie review for y'all tonight. And the movie your boy's gonna be reviewing let me tell you something. It was remade in the US, and the US version was shit. But this version was legit. And the movie's called One Missed Call. Let me tell you something. This movie, this is the Japanese version, okay? This ain't the US version, this is the Japanese version. This movie was on point. It had the horror, it had the suspense. They tried a little bit with the humor, but it kind of not worked in this because the tone of the movie was just so dark and brooding. But, so here's a synopsis of this film, okay? So, what happens is, you get a phone call from your own cell phone, and it plays this really creepy tone, as you can hear in the background of this video. That's the tone from the movie. And it leaves you a message. And basically, in the message, you hear your own death. Now, tell me that shit ain't scary. You get a phone call from yourself, and then you hear your death. So basically, you start off the movie, these people are sitting around this table, whatever, having dinner or this meeting, friend thing, or whatever, the singles thing. And they're talking about this curse, basically, that's going through the phone. And then this girl, she's in the bathroom washing her hands, yada, yada. And she gets a phone call. And it's a ringtone they never heard before. But it's from her phone. And they're like, nah, this can't be. So she answers the phone. And it says it has her voice. It's her voice in the background. It's just like, it's raining. It started to rain. Oh, no. And then it repeated it again, and all of a sudden it gets quiet. And you hear her scream, and then the message stops. And then the funny part is, the message is dated on the date and time that they're going to die. So, here comes the date and the time. Okay, the date comes where the girl, she's walking home, and she calls her friend, and she's talking to her friend about going shopping with her, and all of a sudden, it starts really breaking up. But her friend can hear her on the other end saying, oh no, it started raining. And then she says again, oh no, it started raining, and it gets quiet. But here, the girl who gets killed, she's walking down over this bridge where there's a train going through. And then all of a sudden she hears like a like the sound of just this weird sound. And she turns around, and whatever it is pushes her over the side. And she falls on the train and just poof, poof, poof. And that's what she heard in the voicemail. So fast forward a little bit right after that happened. Right after she gets hit by this train, you see her hand starting to dial numbers. Okay? And as it's dialing numbers, the screen pans back. And her freaking arm is ripped off. And her hand is dialing numbers while her arm's ripped off. What? And then on to the next. The next one's this guy that she had a crush on, or whatever, she really liked. And, you don't know that she called him until the scene where her and her friend are sitting there. Her and that guy are sitting there talking. And he's like, I think it's a prank. I don't believe in this. And he takes out his cell phone and he shows her. And then you hear his death. He starts talking. And then all of a sudden you just hear blood-curdling scream. And the thing is, when he tells her is on the same day of his death in the voicemail. So, they're like, oh no, this can't be real, yada yada. So they're getting ready to leave the mall because they're at a mall. There's some kind of shopping plaza. And they go to the elevator, and all of a sudden, he repeats what he says in the voice message, and he catches himself. He's like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, the elevator door opens, and there's no elevator in it. But again, you hear the whoosh sound. And whatever it is, kind of like reaches up from the ground and yanks him through the ground and onto like the floor. And he dies because he falls through. And I'm just like, see, this stuff is blowing me away because how can the U.S. fuck up this? Because this was good. What the U.S. released was shit. This Japanese version was fantastic. Okay, so back to it. So he falls to his death, whatever, and then as you can tell, little things, it starts spreading out. Well, then the next girl who gets the message, she doesn't get a voice message. She gets a picture message from her phone. You know, they're having a sleepover, and all of a sudden, here's the tone again, playing. And the girl wakes up, and she's all like, oh, God, oh, God. She checks her phone. She's like, oh, thank God it's not mine. What kind of fucking thing is that to say? You're sitting here with your friend, the scary ringtone starts, and you know what the hell the scary ringtone means, and you look at your phone and like, oh, thank God it's not me, when your fucking friend's sitting right there. So if it's not you, it's gonna be her. You selfish fuck. You don't say that. And then she's like, oh no. Like after she's like, oh, thank God it's not me, she's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. Like, come on, you ain't fucking sorry. Anyway, that's where like the humor for me, like it worked a little bit, but did it because like that would be a pretty effed up move if I'm here with a friend and a ringtone goes and I answer my phone. I'm like, oh, thank God it's not me. Like, and then your friends looking at you like, oh shit, you know. Anyway, back to the movie. So her friend gets this picture message, and it's a picture of her, and behind her there's like this head sticking out from behind a wall, with like hair blocking the face, because for some fucking reason every Japanese horror movie out there has to have some fucking scary girl that you can't see her face. Fuck. God. Anyway, that's not here nor there, but seriously, what is with that look? That's scary as shit. And the U.S. can't duplicate that, obviously, because, like I said, the one that's called that the U.S. fucking release was stupid. Anyway, so she gets that message, and then here's where, like, I noticed similarities from the U.S. version and the Japanese version. They literally took this next scene from the Japanese version, and they made it worse. So in both films, there's a scene where that girl who had that picture taken message sent to her, she's in school, and all her friends are like, you know, delete my number, delete, I don't want none of that shit, no. And so they end up instead of doing that, they went to the phone company, got everything erased, and just turned the phone in. You know what I'm saying? I guess I got a new phone, I don't know. But turn the phone in, get rid of the fucker, be done. Well, as they're coming back from that, whatever, this fucking camera crew's there, and they're, you know, they have this supernatural reality kind of television show, whatever. So they force her to do it, but they recruit her to do this show. So as the movie progresses, we get to the part where she's doing this show, and, you know, the girl's there. The cop who lost his sister, he plays a big part in it. There's a cop who lost his sister a few weeks prior, because see, this whole thing is in like a 6 months, this whole story begins in a 6-month span, and it ends with these people. Okay, it first started with the cop's sister. She got burnt in a fire, like, just, so bad. And the reason he's in, for one, it's his sister, and for two, there's a similarity besides just the phone call and everything. Each dead body, when they're found and they're examined, they have a red jawbreaker in their mouths. Okay? So anyway, trust me, that jawbreaker thing plays a big part in the end. Okay? So anyway, they're doing this live exorcism on this reality television show. Okay? And here's where the U.S. fucked it up, because the U.S. version was nowhere near as scary as the fucking Japanese version. Like, this Japanese version, yo, let me tell you something. Your boy Horror Gamer's not a bitch. But this Japanese version, that's some show, oh boy, whoa. Anyway, okay, so back to it. So they're sitting here, they're doing this exorcism, and all of a sudden, you know, fucking backdrop falls over, you know, somebody knocks it down or whatever, and then the girl's standing there, and then you just see this fucking head come from behind the wall, you know, the face, and the hair moves out, and there's the face just sitting there looking at her like, just staring, not saying nothing, just staring. Nobody else could see this face but her. And so they're doing all this, and they shoot to like the camera who's recording this, and you can see it through the camera, but you can't see it in person. So they run up to grab this girl, like to save her, and they're pulling her away and stuff. And all of a sudden you hear this, and then no, before that, and then all of a sudden you hear the ringtone again, and then the same fucking phone that she had deleted numbers and turned in was laying on the fucking table, ringing. What the fuck? Nope, I would have chucked that bitch right across the soundstage. No, thank you. Anyway, and then all of a sudden you hear, "You're hurt. Let me take you to the hospital." And whatever it was, just grabbed this girl and just like ravenously just started just twisting her head and her arms and stuff. And it was sick. Oh, man. Well, anyway, fast forward a little bit after this. They're sitting there just in shock, and all of a sudden, you hear the ringtone again. And there it is. The girl from the beginning. The girl, the main story character, gets the call. And then she answers, she hears the message that says, "Why? How could you do this?" So, 16 hours left. They're trying to figure out what it is. So they go to the morgue. They think they know that it's this woman who abused her kids because there's evidence proven to this. So they go to the morgue and they try to find it. And, they got a couple seconds left. And, they're going through this morgue. They're looking through everything. They're trying to find this woman. They're trying to find something to link this woman to everything. Because they were looking at all these things, and there's like, sign-ins from emergency rooms for her kids and everything. Okay. So they go to the hospital and they find her dead, like in this like walled in, and then all of a sudden her phone starts ringing. And let me get it. The guy broke this phone and threw it in the fish tank, and her phone just shows up and it's ringing, and then there's a countdown that says your life will end, and it's starting to count down from a minute. And she's just screaming, he's screaming, they're just screaming, and then all of a sudden it stops. The minute's up and she doesn't die. Like, what the fuck? Now we did it. And then he goes over to the corpse of the woman that they found, who's supposed to be the girl's mother who she abused. And then, he's like, "You stay away. And then she like looks down at her, and then the fucking thing grabs her. And it comes like, I guess the corpse comes to life or whatever, it's starting to come at her. And throughout this movie, you see back when she was abused as a little girl, the main character. And then, so this ghoulish ghost thing is walking towards her. And she's like, "I'm sorry, Mom." Like, I don't know if she sees her mom in it. She sees her mom, and I don't know if she's going crazy or she's trying to trick it. But she's like, "I'm sorry, Mommy. I'll never leave you. I'm so sorry. I'll never leave you again, yada, yada." Well, and then this corpse thing starts crying. Like, just starts crying like that. And then the cop gets locked out, and he's like trying to get to the door, and she's there by herself with this corpse thing. Well, he breaks through the door, and the woman's holding the corpse thing. Like, I guess it let her go. Okay? So she thinks she's good, so she goes home. And then this whole time, the cop, is in touch with this little girl who, her sister died, and she became mute. It was the little girl was the daughter of this woman who supposedly abused him. Well, he goes and tells the little girl that he found her mom. So they're sitting there, and he's like, "I got something to tell you, yada yada." And then all of a sudden, she hands him the bear, and here the bear is a fucking camera. And you see in the video that the sister was the one who was hurting the little girl. And the mom was actually good, just taking her to the emergency room. She was wondering why. Her mom set up the camera. And her mom set up the camera, and she finally found out why, because she walked in on the girl cutting her sister with a knife. And then the girl, at the end, finally said to the cop, he was like, "Your sister hurt you." She was like, "Yeah, but she always gave me a red jawbreaker." Plot twist. Here we go. I'm getting chills just talking about it. So he's like, "Oh shit." You hear the thing, the sound you were hearing? The girl had asthma. And they were that was the sound she heard. And then you find out that the teddy bear played this really weird song. And it was just the the girl's mentally, like, just mental sound of it is a little creepier, like what you hear on this. And so he runs to the girl's house, the main character's house, and, you know, the girl's already there, you know, she's this, and this, and, you know, she starts screaming, and the cops coming in, and he finally barges to the door, and she's fine, nothing. But the ghost girl was there getting ready to kill this girl, like, what's going on? And then the cop went to give her a hug, and the main character stabbed the cop in the stomach. He's dropped down to his knees looking at her. Here the girl became possessed by the ghost girl and stabbed the cop. And then he blacks out. Okay? Then he wakes up in the hospital. And the girl's standing there. And then the girl leans over, has a knife behind her back. Leans over, you think she's going in for a kiss. But she spits out a red jawbreaker and spits it into his mouth. And then the movie ends. Cliffhanger ending. Kinda dig. And they have 2 more sequels to it, which I will be reviewing later. But, so, I've given you the whole story, everything of this movie. So your boy Horror Gamer is now going to rate this movie. And let me tell you something. I'm going to give One Miss Call, the Japanese version, a 9.6 out of 10. Because let me tell you something. That movie was damn near perfect. There were certain things in the movie I didn't like, but it wasn't enough for me to not like it at all. So a 9.6 out of 10. I highly, highly, highly recommend you check it out. It's called One Miss Call. It's a Japanese version. It's very hard to find. You might have to get it on Amazon or something on DVD, but definitely check it out. And until next time, my horror, you know I love y'all to death. And remember what I always tell you. Until next time, don't fear the dark. Embrace it.